In every era, humanity finds a new weapon. First came blades, forged in the fire of survival. Then bullets, engineered to end life faster. Then came data, invisible, unstoppable, the silent conqueror of the modern age. But now chemistry. In the shadows of progress, a new kind of power was born. Australia's criminal underworld is no longer ruled by guns or cash. It's ruled by molecules, crafted with precision, moved through encrypted codes, and distributed like a new religion. A synthetic empire rose from the ashes of old wars, hidden labs, scorched farmlands, and steel containers humming under moonlight. What started as a chemical experiment for profit became a race for dominance. They called it black ice, a drug so pure, so dangerously perfect, it didn't just addict bodies. It consumed entire systems. It ignited a silent war the world wasn't meant to see, a war that turned chemists into soldiers and formulas into weapons. This battle isn't fought in alleys or backstreets. It's fought in warehouses filled with fumes, in digital networks humming with code, in quiet rooms where a single equation can shift millions. It's a war that reshaped the criminal map of Australia and blurred the line between science and sin. What if the most dangerous weapon wasn't a gun, but a formula? What if purity itself could destroy cities? What if control was never about money, but about chemistry? You're watching Crime Cipher. Faceless, respectful, relentless. Subscribe now and step inside the hidden empire where power isn't taken, it's synthesized. Chapter 1. The New Frontier. It began quietly, almost invisibly, in the western suburbs of Sydney, a place where silence hides ambition. Old import routes had collapsed under border crackdowns, but addiction didn't disappear. It simply adapted. The hunger for escape never dies. It just finds new dealers. And when supply chains broke, chemists filled the gap. Those who once cooked for cartels began building empires of their own, fueled not by loyalty, but by science. Steel shipping containers became makeshift labs, their walls sweating under the heat of hidden burners. Abandoned barns, miles from the nearest patrol, were transformed into chemical reactors pulsing with light. What once smelled of hay now reeked of solvents and industrial fuel. It wasn't chaos, it was evolution. By 2024, Australian authorities reported a record-breaking synthetic output, 14 tons of precursor chemicals seized, yet the flow never stopped. For every lab shut down, 2 more took its place. Someone was orchestrating it all. Unseen, efficient, merciless. Police raids across Perth, Adelaide, and Brisbane revealed the same blueprint. Same pipes, same vents, same chemical ratios. To the public, it was just another bust. But for investigators, it was the first sign of a pattern, a design too perfect to be random. This wasn't chaos. It was a system, a machine disguised as crime. Chapter 2. The War Room. Inside Victoria Police Headquarters, where fluorescent lights hum over sleepless eyes, a new division was formed, Taskforce Pyrite. The name came from fool's gold, a warning that what glittered in chaos might actually be brilliance in disguise. Their mission was to decode the architecture of this new empire. They began mapping everything: precursor shipments, coded transactions, the faintest trail of data left behind. Piece by piece, a disturbing picture emerged, not of criminals improvising, but of engineers executing a plan. The whole operation ran like a corporate supply chain, with logistics, quality control, and strict hierarchy. From that night forward, Taskforce Pyrite went completely dark. No leaks, no reports, just silence. Australia had entered a shadow war, one fought not for drugs, but for dominion. Chapter 3. The Lab Empire. Black Ice was never a single lab. It was a network, a meticulously engineered web of facilities, each a reflection of the next. A formula replicated like a virus, spreading across state lines. The design was simple, efficient, and chillingly organized. Every lab followed the same plan: a clean chamber, a closed-loop ventilation system, triple containment, and chemical automation. Every movement monitored. No names, no loyalty, just production. Each facility could churn out 40 kilos of crystal-clear meth every week, glass-like, odorless, flawless. On the streets, it earned the name church ice. Dealers claimed it was so pure it looked divine. But there was nothing holy about it. Inside, the air was heavy with acid and ammonia. Black ice had become more than a drug operation. It was a belief system, a cult of chemistry. Chapter 4. The Undercover Files. To understand a ghost, you must become one. That was the logic behind Taskforce Pyrite's most dangerous mission, sending Agent H, a trained chemist-turned-operative, straight into the heart of the Empire. He entered the network posing as a lab technician. Inside, he discovered something unexpected: order. There were no gang tattoos, no shouting, no chaos. Just silence and discipline. The workers followed procedures like scientists, not criminals. Weeks later, Agent H's messages stopped. 3 days afterward, his burned car was found outside Dubbo. Inside, investigators recovered a single USB drive labeled Spectre. The files were encrypted, except for one folder titled simply Blueprint. Chapter 5. The Silent War. By early 2025, the war for control of black ice had gone national. The Australian government launched Project Blackout, coordinating simultaneous raids across Queensland, Victoria, and Western Australia. Over 1,000 officers moved before dawn, but every target was one step ahead. Labs were cleared, drives erased, chemical stockpiles gone, yet the generators were still warm. Surveillance footage showed shadows moving hours before police arrived. It was as if someone had watched them watching. It wasn't just a drug network anymore. It was a scientific syndicate. Chapter 6. The Final Strike. January 2025. 4:12 a.m. Across 6 states, Australia's largest ever synthetic drug raid began. Helicopters tore through fog. Tactical teams breached steel doors. Sparks lit the night sky. When the smoke cleared, 73 arrests were made, 9 labs destroyed, and over $1.2 billion in synthetic materials seized. But even in victory, there was unease. Inside one warehouse near Wagga Wagga, investigators found a single computer still active. Its screen displayed a network dashboard, real-time chemical data streaming from 15 active labs still running somewhere in Australia. At the bottom of the screen, a message blinked in digital blue. Spectre 3.0 active. Purity equals power. The Alchemist and Spectre, the minds behind the formula and the system, were still out there, now working together. For Taskforce Pyrite, the truth was devastating. They hadn't ended the war. They had only triggered its evolution. It began in a barn and ended in a bunker. And somewhere in between, Australia changed forever. Power no longer wore a uniform or carried a gun. Black ice was more than a substance. It was a message. A declaration that the future of crime wouldn't be built on violence, but on design. It proved that the most dangerous weapon on Earth is knowledge in the wrong hands. When Taskforce Pyrite thought they'd shut it down, they discovered the truth. You can burn labs, seize chemicals, erase servers, but you can't destroy an idea. In this new age, every formula is a weapon. Every chemist is a soldier. Every molecule, a battlefield. The war isn't over. It's only gone silent. You've been watching Crime Cipher. Faceless, respectful, relentless. If this decode opened your eyes to the future of power, subscribe, share, and comment. I see you below.